Okay, in this video, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss Plato's Republic, book number 9. I've taken some notes from my little reading of it, and I just want to give main points. To understand it in its detail, I would highly recommend that you read it. And because in this video, I'm just kind of giving, like bullet points kind of thing. I've done his books in the Plato's Republic 1 through 8, and I have that in my playlist called Plato's Philosophy. And this number 9, I'll be doing number 10 after this, and those will all go in the same playlist. So basically, what goes on in this book called the Republic, not talking about 9 yet. A definition of justice is what is wanted, and that is given in various ways on the city-wide level and on the individual level. And if you want to get like little summaries like this through these videos, you can go back, and I have a video for each book of the Republic, and you can go and look at those, because books 1 through 8, you should probably understand those in order to get what's going on in 9. And I don't want to explain, in detail the Philosopher King thing and the justice thing on both levels as much as I have, because I've done that in those other videos. So if you don't really understand what's going on in this big picture thing of what this whole thing is being of what is being done, then you can go back to those and see those, or even read the book. I think it's worth reading if you like philosophy at all and you want to read something that is very important when it comes to philosophy, just in general, because we have a metaphysics, an ethics, a political philosophy, epistemology, and we have that all into one kind of theory here in this book called the Republic. Anyway, in book 8, which I have a video on, that's that book plus one of the book. I don't recall correctly. There is given this idea of 4 different dictators, four different governors of a city, and they represent the deterioration of the city. Socrates says that all of these are inevitable, and you can't stop them. But basically, what he does in this whole Republic is he gives a model. While he's defining justice, he gives a model as to how the city should be run. That is a truth-seeking city, which is run by a truth-seeking philosopher king. And basically, we have, we have the truth-seeking city of the aristocrats, which is very high. That's the way things should be done, and he gives 4 stages, or 4 different dictators, or four different men that are running the city, which represent stages of deterioration of the city. The first is a democracy, and again, I think in book 8 I explained this a little. I explained what these things are exactly. There's the democracy, then the oligarchy, democracy, and then the tyranny. In book 9, he talks about what the tyrannical man is, the man whose life is tyranny, and basically, the life of the tyrannical man is ruled by his desires, what he wants. The difference between democracy and a tyranny is the democracy goes after the necessary desires, while the tyranny goes after the unnecessary and often excessive and mostly unlawful desires. And the tyrannical man is going after desires of his that are not lawful in any stretch of the imagination. Um, he's basically living the life of a criminal, and that's the way he lives. He lives his life. He feeds the wrong beast. He feeds the beast of these criminal, unlawful desires, and the ring of Gucci's is a big thing in the Republic, and I forget which book it was, but I discussed this in one of these books. This is very important. And then the tyrannical, unlawful desires of this man is like incest, murder, foul, horrible things like this, which really is what characterizes him, because these desires are unlawful. Socrates says that we all have such desires. We all have, these desires. But there's a difference between the regular person who lives the just life and the tyrannical man who lives the unjust life. And the reason he says that we all have these desires that the tyrannical man acts upon is because of our dreams, and that's our dreams, things we dream about, show that. And if you are going to live an unjust life, then you will act upon these things during the day. That makes the difference between the just man and the unjust man. The tyrannical man, he makes this analogy. Socrates does that the tyrannical man is the son of the democratic man. The Timocratic man gives birth, has the son of the oligarchical man, and the oligarchical man has a son as the democratic man, and then the democratical man has the son of the tyrannical man, and they're just representing. Horse's name out there. I forgot what I was going to say. So basically, it's just representing the deterioration not only of one's soul, because when he talks about justice and he talks about the city, he's talking about not only on the city-wide level, but he's talking about as the person's soul individually, and he's talking about like how the democracy to the oligarchy to the democracy to the tyranny, it's just stages of deterioration of not only the city but also the person's soul. And the democratic man lives by his the needful desires that are not unlawful, but it's just showing the inevitable deterioration of the soul in the city. And he talks about drones and how drones, they implant lawlessness in the sun. Basically, it's a little discussion about drones. You can read that in the book if you want to. And basically, the drones have to do with bringing him into lawlessness and lack of moderation. And they all agree in this dialogue that the unlawful, unjust, tyrannical life is not something that anyone wants. It's wretched. The tyrannical man is he's in danger, and he's taking a lot of risks. He's in danger of dying and being killed as a result of the way he's living. He's taking a big risk in the way he lives because he could, pay a fatal price for all of this. The tyrannical man is the most unjust man. He's most unhappy. So a picture is being painted in this dialogue of the tyrannical, unjust man and what his life is like. In order to just the point is to show, because in book 2, I believe, the suggestion is given by, I forget who, that the unjust life is obviously is obviously profitable, and it's a better way to go, and that's through the metaphor, or it's through the story of the ring of Gyges, where he puts the ring on, and he becomes invisible, and he can do whatever he wants, and he does, and he can have intercourse with whoever. He can do whatever he wants to, because he's invisible, and he can't take the fall for what he's done. So, around that, the thought is given that obviously the unjust life is profitable. So Socrates is painting the picture of the unjust man's life, that he's unhappy, he's taking a huge risk of, dying because of all these things he's doing, and he's painting a picture of the unjust life as being horrible, lack of happiness, and just terrible. And I would agree to a certain extent. The aristocrat, on the other hand, is the most just and the most happy. So he's also painting a picture not only of the tyrannical man being most unjust and most unhappy, but the aristocratic, the philosopher king, the truth-seeking life, the most just life, as being the most happy and the most fulfilling life. And the conclusion is made here that, I believe it was Thrasymachus at book 2 or something, that where he says, given the ring of given what can happen in the ring of Gyges, if we could all live unjustly, and if we did live unjustly, it would pay. It would work out. Now, I don't recall the details because I've read that only a while ago, but I do have a video on it where in that video I had read it recently. But the thought is given within this Republic book that maybe that injustice and living an unjust life pays you better than living a just life. And Socrates is painting the picture of how the just life is really the one that is the most happy and the most fulfilling life. And how it really does pay to be just. Then he moves on to saying there's 3 kinds of people in the world. There's the truth-loving person, there's the honor-loving person, and then there's the profit-loving person. They all live their life based upon the thing that they love most. The truth-loving person loves truth the most, and they center their lives around that. Same with the honor-loving and the profit-loving. The profit-loving person centers their life around money and such. They center their lives and they work their lives around what they love most and getting that. And whatever that's basically we center our lives around what we deem the most important. And that is also in the Bible, because where Jesus said that no one can serve 2 masters. You can serve God or you can serve money, but you can't serve both. Because no man can serve two masters. And among these three, only one can be shown to be the correct and the most just way to live. And if you've read the book if you read it, or at least have an understanding of this up till now, you will know what Socrates will say, and that is the truth-loving person, because given the philosopher king, given the whole city, the whole model of everything, that whole city is centered around moving towards truth, aligning that the philosopher king aligns himself with the form of the good in order to be a truth seeker and to gain truth, in order to guide the city, which most of which is in the cave, if you understand what I mean, in Book 7, the analogy of the cave. The philosopher king has the place to judge which one is it, and obviously the truth-loving kind of person is the one who who is doing the correct thing. And the philosopher king has experienced all of these, so he is the most in the best position to show or to say which one is the best. The truth-loving is aligned with the just person. The one who lives the just life is the one who lives the truth-loving life. The philosopher's pleasure of truth-loving and moving towards truth is the only real pleasure. The other desires, the honor and the profit, they can't ever be fully satisfied because they're negative. Because they are satisfied in place of of not having those things, and they can't ever be satisfied. And that's only because the philosopher, the just person, the truth-loving person aligns themselves with the form of the good, and the metaphysics of these forms is factored into this, and that's how these things are defined. Every person has three animals inside of his soul. One, they have a multi-headed beast. Two, they have a lion, and then three, they have a person inside. And the unjust person pretty much feeds the lion and the beast. And the lion and the beast drag the person or the human along while the human starves. And the human is enemy to the beast and the lion. And it's kind of what comes down to that proverbial quote that if you have two opposing desires, the one that wins is the one that you feed. The just person makes the human the one who leads, and the human domesticates and takes care of the beast and the lion, and cares for it as if it was livestock. And all three of them together are friends, given the just person's life. And this book ends with kind of the idea that one should live by reason of some form or another. He goes into a couple of different kinds of reasons, of reason, and from this it is concluded that laws, if you have read the book up to this point, the laws are kind of strict. They're strict and they're put in place for a reason, though, and they're put in place to help people, not to harm people. They're to, keep everything in line towards what is really important. If you have any questions, comment below, and I'm going to do the last book, and then after that, we'll see what happens.